Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Megan, and today I'm going to be discussing the new Superman movie. So I saw the Superman movie this week. It was definitely different than what I thought it was going to be. The first thing I noticed was that it was really hard for me to get into the place in life that Lois and Clark are in the movie, because the last iteration of Superman I watched was Superman and Lois on the CW, where Clark and Lois are parents. They've been married for years. They have teenage boys. So you got to see their parenting dynamic, and they have a really solid relationship, very open, communicative. And so it was hard for me to get back into the time where they were not married yet and they had just started dating. And so that was just like the main thing while watching the movie. It's just like I was so used to Tyler and Bitsy that it was just, I was just so used to them being like fully adults and parents and mature and everything. So it was difficult at first to get into the younger mindset of Lois and Clark. But once I got past that, it was pretty decent, I think. The beginning was kind of interesting because you're just kind of like jumped into the world, so you don't really know kind of what's going on exactly. It did remind me, at least at the very beginning, that it felt like a sequel or something like that. Like it was picking up where something had left off. So I don't know if that was intentional for them to be like, hey, we're just going to start here and they're going to be in it, and then they're going to be in it for the rest of the movie. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's what it felt like. And then I noticed the guy from the Bill Engvall show. He plays Jimmy, the guy who played Brian on the Bill Engvall show. I always wondered what happened to the actor who played Brian. And I saw him when he first jumped on the screen. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I know that person. Because he looks exactly the same. So Brian did very well. He now is a newspaper reporter, a reporter at a newspaper. So he went on to do great things. He's now Jimmy Olsen. So that was just like a really cool surprise, and the comedic aspect of it, because Bill Engvall show was a multi-camera comedy in front of a live studio audience. So I think the actor did really well with Jimmy Olsen. I thought he was a trip. He was great. The one thing that really surprised me about the film was how modern it was. I didn't expect it to be high-techy. I didn't expect it to be Superman's adversary was going to be like the government or like the people. At certain times it reminded me of Black Panther, and then other times it reminded me of like Transformers. I thought maybe his adversary would just be someone like within the comics, which I know Lex was in this movie, but I was just kind of shocked that the people are still against him in a way. So for me, it just felt super modern and futuristic in that sense. There were times where it kind of reminded me of like 102 Dalmatians, where like they get like stuck in the jail, or they get stuck into that like factory or something. Like it just reminded me of like these random like movies, whether it was animated or not animated. I'm trying to think of a movie that I recently saw that it kind of reminded me of, where they were all in like little cubes, the people were. And I'm trying to remember what movie it was where they were in cubes like that. I don't know. But that's what it kind of reminded me. It just reminded me of like so many different movies put together. I felt like it was a little, I don't mean this like in a bad way, but it felt like very childlike in terms of the dialogue. I thought it was gonna be like deeper and more serious, and it seemed like it had the more lighthearted. It kind of did feel like a live action like comic book strip, like in terms of some of the camera views that it had in certain scenes. But I don't know, I just have like mixed feelings about it. Like I just feel like it was just so futuristic, and I don't know how I overall feel about it. I think they did really good job in terms of representing Clark and Superman in his goodwill and his personality and sticking to his guns. And he is kind of a childlike character. And so I just loved how he cared so much about his dog. Like, it gave me John Wick flashbacks. He just cared about the dog. He's just alone and scared. And that just like melted my heart while watching. I was like, oh, that's so cute. And then he saved the squirrel and he saved all the, like, I really like the shot where they did of the little girl. I think they did that in Smallville with Tom Welling. I think that was in the opening credits, except that was a little boy. But I liked how they had some of those like iconic Superman moments of like lifting up buildings for people. In the trailer of the movie, he does a thing where it's like, eyes up here or look here, and then he like kind of goes up. I thought he was saying that to a child, but when you watch the movie, he doesn't say it to a child. And I was just like, oh, because I thought that was a moment like similar in Superman and Lois in the pilot episode of that series. Someone says, I like your cape, and he's like, thanks, my mom got it for me. And so I thought like the moment where he's like, hey, look at me, and then he goes up, I thought that would have been like, I thought that was going to be like a moment like that, and it wasn't. It was the monster or whatever he was talking to. But I really liked the Green Lantern. I liked Mr. Terrific. I think the characters were pretty likable. I think the ending is good enough where it can be opening for another Superman adventure. Like, oh, what is he going to do, you know, next time? What type of, like, no different than like a book. It's just like, what's the next mission or the next chapter or something like that. So I think the ending was really great. I thought it was so weird that Bradley Cooper was the dad. I was just like, why? I don't know. I was like, I think there were better parents chosen in the past adaptions. And so like that threw me off. It just, the appearances of some of the people like just threw me off. And I just don't know if they were just playing, you know, or like, we're just gonna have Bradley Cooper play that because like I wouldn't have probably chose I love Bradley Cooper, but like I wouldn't have chose him for the dad. What I would have loved, since we're on the topic of cameos, James' brother Sean plays Kirk on Gilmore Girls, and he made like this like 1 second appearance or something. What could have been great is if they got Sean in Kirk, and like he was like on the news for something, like Kirk coming from like Stars Hollow. That's it for my review on Superman. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.